There has never been a better time to make sure you've seen the best that this generation of PlayStation has to offer. There's a baffling amount of games to choose from, so whether you're looking for a big AAA or a surprise indie, we've hopefully got you covered. Here are 20 amazing PS4 games to play right now. Monster Hunter World. We knew Monster Hunter World was going to deliver something special, but no one expected quite the level of depth and beauty awaiting within Capcom's updated action RPG, or how quickly we'd add it to our list of best PS4 games. It's easily the most accessible Monster Hunter game yet, with endless weapon types, huge creatures, gorgeous environments, and a terrifyingly addictive loot for spoil system means Monster Hunter will have its claws in you right from the get-go. Battlefield 1. Battlefield 1 takes the epic shooter series back to World War I, and the result is some of the grittiest, bloodiest FPS action you'll ever see. This installment has a great little story mode, which follows the exploits of several troops fighting on all fronts of the conflict, but it's all about the multiplayer with Battlefield. The variety of maps and modes is staggering here, especially with all the content added by various DLC packs, most of which are completely free for all users. Whether you prefer to stick as a soldier, or choose to drive tanks or pilot aircraft, there's a role for you in the chaotic online arena. Detroit Become Human. This is one of my personal favourites on the list. Detroit is the latest adventure from Quantic Dream. It's a fascinating story game that centres on Detroit in the year 2038. Society has created androids to do all their menial tasks and low-paid jobs, but Detroit Become Human explores what happens when the androids gain sentience and start to break their programming. With choices that will drastically change the outcome of the story, be prepared to really get your money's worth on this one as you play it through multiple times. HELLBLADE: SENUA'S Sacrifice. This entry might not be the one to play if you're feeling fragile, but HELLBLADE: SENUA'S Sacrifice is an adventure game which follows a young warrior called Senua, who travels to Hell to save the soul of her lover. Most of the game sees you solving environmental puzzles, fighting demons, and taking part in boss battles. However, it's the stories you live through and the way the game represents Senua's fragile mental health that makes HELLBLADE one of PS4's best. Assassin's Creed Odyssey. The newest Assassin's Creed is an absolute monster of a game. With about 100 plus hours of stuff to do in ancient Greece, there's amazing value here too. Though it is our professional opinion that of the two choices of character to play as, Cassandra is the proper choice. This game is truly beautiful, and putting in the time to master the combat is really satisfying. Whether you're dashing across ancient Greece on a steed, or sailing around it on your own fully crewed ship, the sheer variety of things to see and do is staggering. The Division 2. With The Division 2, Ubisoft absolutely nailed how to make a sequel. It took everything that was right with the original game and made it better, but also managed to iron out all the niggles and problems people had, to make a game that's full of stuff to do, a lengthy endgame and story missions that are utterly brilliant. It's a seriously fantastic looter shooter that's going to keep on giving for years to come. Bloodborne. Bloodborne was PS4's first truly great, bespokely created exclusive. In Yharnam, From Software has made one of the most unerringly atmospheric worlds on PlayStation. This is a city that drips with dread, every corner potentially hiding a grotesque beast or fascinatingly twisted piece of lore. With the finest first-person melee combat in all of games, jewel-worthy art design and the most twisted monsters in the biz, this is a gorgeously gothic must-have, though it's a bit hard, mind. Persona 5. If you're not familiar with this entry, here's the gist. You are a high school student who, between class and socialising with friends, fights monsters, capturing or otherwise convincing them to lend their power to your quest. And what is that quest, you may ask? Why, to fight against a world run by adults who have let their hearts grow cold, of course. To do this, you enter a realm tied to each major antagonist's twisted psyche, facing down their literal demons. One part Pokemon, one part High School Simulator, one part Psychonauts, all backed by a groovy soundtrack. Resident Evil 7 BIOHAZARD. The original survival horror is back to reclaim its throne as one of PS4's best scarefests, with its first-person reboot. Resident Evil 7 is a complete reinvention for the series. The game follows Ethan as he searches for his missing wife in a Louisiana swamp, a trip that soon goes very wrong when the Baker family show up. This is a much more low-key, slow-burning sort of fear than the last couple of games' action blowouts, focusing on a more slasher movie-style pursuit through a large, crumbling house. But despite the overhaul, things like inventory management, puzzles, weapons, and items still feel unmissably resi. It's a great Resident Evil game, but more importantly, a great horror game in its own right. Nier Automata. It may not be the most expansive, content-filled RPG in the world, or on this list, but it is definitely the best game to start a gothic android waxing philosophical about the nature of humanity, morality, and free will, though don't hold your breath for that full list. Combat is fast, fluid, and satisfying, while a unique and award-winning soundtrack ranges from exciting to melancholy to mystical to inspiring. It's weird, wild, and not to be missed. Uncharted 4: A Thief's End. Uncharted 4 sees an older, hardened Nathan Drake being coaxed out of retirement by his brother Samuel. What follows is a game full of fast, fluid combat, an award-winning soundtrack, and series-defining set pieces. But as explosive as Uncharted 4 is, it's also deeply personal, and it's a hell of a showpiece for your PS4 to boot. What Remains of Edith Finch? Sure, by now you've probably heard all the hype, but What Remains of Edith Finch is one of those beautiful reminders that games can make you feel everything. Exploring her family home, Edith Finch gradually uncovers the stories of the Finches through the ages, each one opening up a new experience and story. To give away anything is to spoil the magic of this walking sim, but yes, it will break your heart, but only in the best possible way. GTA 5. The magic of GTA 5, our favourite PS3 game, and its reappearance on current-gen hardware isn't in the improved textures, shinier cars, or even the brilliantly executed new first-person mode. It's in the way each addition and improvement combines to enthrall you all over again, to sink another blissful 50 hours into Los Santos without ever feeling like a rerun. And of course, with GTA 5 comes GTA Online, with its mega online heists, improved character creator, and, end of the mystery of Mount Chiliad. This game is one of the greatest open world games ever made, so there. FORTNITE. I can feel the eye rolls on this one already, but FORTNITE is fun, it's free, and the world is constantly changing. Regular developer updates add new weapons, modes, and thoughtful tweaks to baseline mechanics every week, keeping the game fresh even if you already have a few dozen wins under your belt. And don't forget about the Save the World mode if you're in the mood for something more cooperative, though you will have to pay to play that one for now. The Witcher 3: The Wild Hunt. If you haven't played this game yet, I am so incredibly jealous of you, and what better time to lose yourself in the world of The Witcher. This game is one of the most diverse and challenging RPG world's ever seen, mesmerising to look at and utterly engrossing to play. What really impresses are the genuinely entertaining missions and the eclectic cast of characters that bring the world to life. Not to mention, it's been further bolstered by the often astonishing Blood and Wine expansion DLC, essential in every way. Metal Gear Solid: The Phantom Pain. Metal Gear Solid 5: The Phantom Pain offers a level of freedom and creativity unheard of in any sandbox. It's something to be explored for days, weeks, months, each little secret and hidden slice of gameplay just waiting to be found and to make players rethink the way they approach the game. Plus, it's got a killer 80s soundtrack and some wonderfully gruff voice acting from Kiefer Sutherland. Grand, majestic, and bittersweet, this is an instant classic and one of the finest things you can shove into your PS4. Marvel's Spider-Man. Spider-Man is one of the most fun, immediately joyful games you'll ever pop into your PlayStation. It looks incredible, sure, and the game itself is massive, but what impresses most is the feel of swinging around New York as a web slinger himself. The fact that the story has all the heart and humour of Spidey's latest Marvel outgoings only enhances an already brilliant superhero game. With a neat photo editor included and a stack of DLC, you could be playing Spider-Man for months and still have a grin on your face when you've finished. Red Dead Redemption 2. Red Dead Redemption 2 and its glorious open world is filled with things to do and people to meet, /rob, /kill. The world is so realistic you may have to pinch yourself that it's not real as the morning mist rolls in or the sun breaks through the clouds in the afternoon. And the story, the story. Obviously we won't be crowned the sheriff of Spoiler Town here, but it's as gloriously epic as you'd expect from a Rockstar game. Even if the opening few hours are a little slow, it's a wonderful world to live in, because there's so much to see and discover that you're going to be wondering what the heck that thing on the mountain is for a while to come. Horizon Zero Dawn. As beautiful as it is deep, Horizon Zero Dawn creates an astonishingly rich world to explore and get lost in. On top of all that, the post-apocalyptic prettiness, the core gameplay loop of hunting and taking down various mechanical creatures is the real draw here. The use of slower weapons like bows creates a far more tactical take on the action. You have to think about your strategies and consider your options rather than just charge in blasting. As well as learning to get by in a world that hates you. There's just so much to see and do as you chase side quests, meet new factions, and try to unravel the compelling mystery behind corrupted machines and a lost past. Once you're done with the main game, there is a sizable, challenging expansion with the Frozen Wilds. Easily one of the best games of the generation. God of War. The new God of War is, in many ways, a complete fresh start for the action series. While Kratos is still very angry, the game still features moments of horrific violence and the action continues to be smooth and brutal. The whole structure and pace have been completely revamped. Now you're free to explore the world and unearth all its secrets as you go through. And there are so many layers to this game. Puzzles are incredibly smart, set pieces impress, and Kratos is a much more rounded character, especially when it comes to the interactions with his son Atreus. It's a gorgeous exclusive that reinvents one of the console's longest serving, most loved characters. It's heaps of fun to play, and the game just keeps inviting you to dig deeper and deeper to discover all its goodies. And you will. You'll be playing this for a long, long time, boy. So there you have it. There should be enough games to keep you busy for, I don't know, the rest of the year. Let us know what you'll be playing first in the comments, and thanks for watching.